The grocery store is draining your wallet, your bank account. Let's talk about crops that can stop the leak if you're tired of overpriced produce. Let's turn your garden into a money saver. Supermarket basil, $4 a bunch. In your garden, free and fresh all summer long. I will give you the crops list, the seasonal rotational plan, and how much space you need to plant out this list. Team Replay, and those of you here in the live chat, what's the one grocery item you'd love to stop buying because it's too expensive? Let's work on some goals together. Money saver crops that pay for themselves can work worldwide. We all have something that we can have on this list. These consistently rank high for value because they're pricey in stores. They're things you can harvest over time, or possibly they store really well. First thing we're going to get into with this list is the herbs. We all can agree that having herbs in those little plastic open door things at the store are so expensive. I encourage you to buy a planted pot for an herb and plant that. You don't even have to do it by seed. It can be perennial or annual where you live. Rosemary, thyme, oregano, chives, basil, cilantro, constant harvest from these. Mint, lemon balm. The list goes on and on of herbs. Tarragon. List out your herbs. Which ones do you guys grow? Of course, leafy greens. We're talking about the cut and come again kind. Those would be the leafy ones versus the head forming ones, but also grow head forming ones. Depending on what time of season you are, they're very expensive at the grocery store. So lettuce mixes, those clamshell containers, was at $7 for an organic baby greens mix. Your kale, a handful of kale is what, $3 at the store? Swiss chard, Mizuna, they have quick cycles and multiple cuts. The tomatoes. Now, we went on a rant yesterday in our live about what crops to grow to make money. What are the most high profit crops? And tomatoes was one of those. Are they that profitable? Well, they want to sell them for a bunch of money at the grocery store and they don't taste like tomatoes. You should grow them at home. The cherry tomatoes are very easy to grow, very prolific. They'll produce a lot of tomatoes. Of course, then there's the sauce and the slicers. Your peppers and chilies, I think it's $2 for a ripe red bell pepper, right? I don't even know what jalapenos cost right now, or even in the winter. Expensive varieties, you can get huge yields from one plant in a season. Pole or runner beans, big yield per square foot. So if you've bought, what is it, a pound of green beans or a bag, what is it, 3 pounds at the store, they don't look that great. I don't know what they taste like. And you can be growing your own fresh and have successions of them. So they just keep producing for you. The pole beans, you can grow ones to maturity to dry, and then now you have something on the shelf that will last, dare I say, forever in the perfect condition. Okay. And it tastes fantastic. How many of you have grown your own dried beans? Amazing flavor. Cucumbers. What does a cucumber cost at the store? How many times have we heard of them making people sick? Let's grow our own and save some money and be healthy, okay? Summer squash, zucchini. There's the green and the yellow summer squash. What do those cost at the grocery store? You could grow one plant and get one every day sometimes, depending on how the year's going. They're very prolific. You can pickle these things, dehydrate extras. I just saw a recipe for a summer squash and cannelli bean soup at Gaz Oakley's channel, and I was like, that looks fantastic. We've talked about yesterday how garlic is so expensive. So if you want to sell it, go for it. To buy it, let's grow our own, right? If we can figure out onions, do that too. They store well. Garlic is a high value crop. It's easy. It just stays in the ground for a really long time. Our root crops, the carrots, they taste really fantastic when they have been kissed by frost and they are fresh from nature's refrigerator, the earth, our soil. Yes, you can get, what is it, a pound of carrots for $1, but I encourage you to try and grow carrots. Beets, radish, fast and storable. We are going to get deeper into perennials as we talk about this conversation for around the world today together. Here, I'm just going to quickly throw out asparagus because that is something that we see at the grocery store. It is a perennial, and you plant it once, and it's there, dare I say, forever. Harvest for years. Okay. So, where are you watching from? Now, don't be super specific. Just broadly say you in the replay, you in the chat, and what's your favorite crop to grow to cut your grocery bill? We should be eating our whole foods, right? I'm going to head over in the chat before I talk about the bed space or the container space to grow out our crops list that we're going over here together. I know I saw my favorite competitor in the YouTube universe, Radio Jonesy, is here. There's this one I wanted to click on. Says, I'm so excited. Of course, we have Jay Dixon. Welcome to your show. And Bowtie and all that he brings has entered and graced us with his presence in the chat. Fox and Outdoors, greetings and citations from my fellow gardeners. What's going on, Cliff? Radio Jonesy says tomatoes and bell peppers. Pest Hunter Outdoors even made it. Good evening. Oh, the Wickershire Project Off-Grid. Hello, plant nerds. Robin Gardens. Hello from Chicagoland. I'm going to be in and out because of canning salsa. Shawnee Grows. Heated those lids and 100% on the Furch Bass this time. Amen. Look at that. We problem solve together because we just want to help each other grow and learn and preserve, right? T-Bor 101. Hey. Thanks for joining us for Grow These Crops to Cut Your Grocery Bill. We're going to go deeper into what size space, how to plant them. Maybe your part of the world has a different crops list. We're going to try and cover it. Wickershire says, vine anything angers me as a gardener. Do you like vertical vines or what's this one called? Where they just run free. Okay, Robin Gardens. Organic jalapenos are $4.99 a pound at Whole Foods, but not fully ripe to red. They're green. Oh, there. Yes. You're welcome, Jay. Absolutely. Anything. Anything for you. Cliff says, my carrots are finally kicking into overdrive. I am not proud of my carrots this year. I'll say that. I'll have to put that in like a garden fail video for everybody. Dave Knight. Hey, everyone listening. Dave Knight saves money by growing his own lettuce in the right time of year. The Wickershire Project Off-Grid makes me excited for winter kissed by frost. What happened if I go outside and bring frost flowers and chocolates? Hubba hubba. Okay, Texas grower. How are prices for produce at the store for you? Radio Jonesy is Tasmania, bell peppers and tomatoes. There's only 2 grocery stores at Pest Hunter Outdoors, Walmart and Brookshire Brothers. Cliff is planting carrots and radishes in open planter spaces lately. Robin Garden says northwest of Chicago, favorite to grow is chard because it's my full season plant. Love that about chard. And you grow the rainbow chard? And I asked you this before, and I'm going to say it again here. Are you going to try pickling the stalk, like the rainbow stem part? That looks like celery is what it reminds me of, right? Would you ever pickle it? Good evening, Food Forest Permaculture. I hope you had a wonderful day canning. We're talking about what crops to grow to cut your grocery bill. And I can hear you say all of them. Grow everything. Avoid the store. Oh no, Pest Hunter Outdoors had teeth pulled. Ouch. You need to rest. Take it easy. Listen to your body. Bowtie, go to bed if you're tired. You will be in the replay tomorrow and you can load up the comment section as much as you want. You have great commitment to the channel. Appreciate you. Howie canned lots of pears and apple butter. Robin Garden says Ford Hook chard is the most tasty chard. Oh, okay. So that's, I'd have to look up what that looks like. The rainbow are okay, young in a salad. So the Ford Hook is tastier. Gotcha. taking notes. Let's get into the space. So, if we're talking about either a bed space or in the ground, if you can visually picture, I have a bonus list to read to you about crops to grow to save money after we get through some things here. So a 3x2, right? Or a 6x1, it would be just a straight line one, and then a couple containers. We can plant these things in these 3 examples to save money. So you would put herbs in the corner. So if I show that, I have things kind of labeled. Herbs in the corner, spots, and edges. So your basil, cilantro, chives. You have constant harvest from them. They don't take up that much space. They're easy to access, right? Then you have your next layer, your leafy greens. They take up 1 to 2 square feet. So you could line them up around the edges. So L is lettuce, right? Your Swiss chard, your kale, your cut and come again, all season. Tomato would be 1 plant in a square foot. You could do something that's a determinate bush variety. You can do an interdeterminate slicing variety. You just have to have trellises for these things if you want it to have good success at life, right? So yes, cherry or slicer, massive yield, high return over input. Is that ROI? Did I just blank on ROI? Return on investment. And then next to your 1 square foot of your tomato, you can have your pepper. So see where I wrote pepper? I'm just showing the raised beds. I'll talk about containers themselves most likely. Bell or hot, whatever your preference is. Value crop. You can freeze and dry it well. You can pickle it. And then your bush beans. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 bush beans in 1 square foot. Just plant 1 square foot and then wait a couple weeks and you can plant a second square foot, or wait a month and you can plant a second square foot of beans to have this succession planting. It's a big yield in a small space. It's very beneficial to the soil food web, right? We always hear about nitrogen fixers. You can have onions in places that don't take up that much space. And maybe you have an area where you can put garlic in because it'll sit for a while. You can plant garlic in the spring and get a smaller garlic, of course. The whole plant once, harvest later. You only get 1 for the seed. You know how, like a tomato, you would plant 1 tomato, but you would get like 25 pounds of tomatoes. The garlic and onion, you get 1. But they are our staples for our aromatics. So globally, now tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Australia should grow shallots, cherry tomatoes, and greens. Turkey should grow tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. South Africa should grow spinach, carrots, beetroot. I don't know if any of that's accurate, okay? For the containers, I suggest 30-gallon. Now you can do growing in smaller sizes, but I want a companion plant in these containers. That's why I'm saying let's start with 30-gallon containers. Have 1 tomato plant, some chives, and some basil in that one. In a 30-gallon container, do a pepper plant, have an oregano going, a lettuce, throw a nasturtium in there. Okay, why not? In another 30-gallon container, you can do bush beans. You could do 9 bush beans, and then around the edge of the circle, like if it's a circle or a square, plant some carrots. They'll grow underneath and the bush beans will grow up above, right? I always picture like those rectangle, oh, I thought that was going to fall. The rectangle containers where you have like a window box, right? Have your lettuce and radish in there. Radish goes underground, lettuce grows up, and then have a box dedicated to a bunch of different herbs that you'll use, whether it's for making tea or for making a dressing or for aromatics to things. Like you can really get creative in any format. We have a year-round rotation plan that I'm going to break down for you, but we're going to jump back into the comments to see where we're at. Howie is doing more tomorrow and on Friday, and there's going to be some salmon fishing. That's fantastic. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Bowtie says, leaving this playing for another 2 watch hours for you, Shawnee Grows. Y'all have a blessed day. Get your rest and sleep well. Okay, absolutely, Cliff. So in your bean square, your square foot of bush beans, poke some other stuff in there. Have some radish, have some carrots, right? You can have just a whole square of carrots, and you can have just a whole square of radish. It's all about eating what you grow, okay? Grow what you eat? I said that backwards. Grow what you eat. If you don't eat radish, don't grow it. If you don't want carrots, don't grow it. Jay does this conversion for us on the screen. What 30 gallons is in liters? 113. Radio Jonesy is, hang on, I'm listening at work. Did you just say you can plant your lettuce with radish at the same in the same spot? I would definitely. So you plant on a diagonal. So you know how you do like a triangle shape? So like lettuce, radish, lettuce, like a zigzag. And the radish will be out of there in 45 days. And then the lettuce can get bigger and take up more space, depending on if it's a head lettuce or a leaf lettuce. A leaf lettuce, you pull out the outermost mature leaves, baby greens, and eat them, and it keeps growing more out the center, right? So I definitely would say, yeah, grow the radish and lettuce together. Wickershire Project Off Grid says 1, 2, 3 gallon grow bags are trash in a hot zone. 5 gallon sort of keep enough water till the next day. In hot areas, you need drip irrigation, lowest setting, or a plastic bottle with 2 pinholes. Have you ever experimented with letting it sit in a pan or a pool or a tray, some kind of catchment, where you bottom water the container? Like, you know how we bottom water seedlings? Have you ever, Wickershire, in your area, in your zone where you're saying it's hot, done that with a container? Mind Food Forest Journey, welcome to the conversation about what crops to grow to save money at the grocery store. Here we go. Eat what you grow what you eat. Never a wrong way to say it. Thank you. Okay, so if we're talking about year-round rotation plan, in our springtime, wherever that is for you, get your herbs going that are able to be in that cooler temperature. So the list is parsley, cilantro, chives. You can plant now and harvest through the summer. Again, that's that outer edge and the corners of your bed space that we talked about. We've got leafy greens you can get going in the spring. Spinach, the lettuce mix, kale, quick cut and come again. The root crops that you can get going in spring are radish, carrots, beets, fast turnover. Once you're coming into summer and you're not going to have any more frost, cold nights, beans are going to get going, and you're going to do successions of those. So you can first start sowing them right away, and then you can decide if it's every month you go and plant a new square as things come out. You don't even have to keep them in their own square. You can just poke them in wherever. And then onions, you would be planting those in the spring. So let's switch into summer now. You've now harvested out your radish. You've been trimming and eating your lettuce. We're going to make sure to get in our tomato plant with a trellis support system. After the frost, when the soil is warm, you want, was it 55 degrees Fahrenheit before you put that thing in the ground? And then your pepper plant definitely needs warm soil. It does not like cold feet. Your one pepper plant, whether it's a bell or a chili or capsicum. A second sowing of bush beans now in the summertime. You can freeze them if you didn't know that after you blanch them. Your leafy greens, you can plant another round underneath if you're noticing where shade is going in your bed. You know, we can plant the tomatoes and peppers, the taller things, towards the north end. So when the south sun exposure is coming, it's not blocking anything. But if you want to create a shaded spot, plant them up closer to the south side. They'll create a shade spot behind them. And then you could grow things that like not so much sun, right? Swiss chard, there's a type of spinach called New Zealand that's a heat tolerant. There's also heat tolerant versions of lettuce. I have a list somewhere of lettuce that I want to have in the spring, in the summer, and the fall, and they're all different types, and they're supposed to be great for all those seasons that I want to experiment with next year. The basil gets thrown in after we don't have any frost coming because it loves that summer heat. You always want to top off your basil so it keeps growing. Then, don't forget about fall. That cool season's going to return. We're back into making sure we have leafy greens going in. If a crop isn't producing well or it's damaged or it's dying, just take it out and put something new in. Kale, arugula, lettuce mixes, the succession plantings, the root crops, the carrots, the beets, the turnips they harvest into early winter. A lot of those things can have um, a frost touch them after they've grown and matured, and they'll be okay. The other thing is with a small space like this, you could really benefit from season extensions with covers, right? The garlic in the fall goes in somewhere. If you're planting it in the ground or in a raised bed, I don't have experience with it in a raised bed other than one that was lined with rocks. So, I mean, it wasn't that far up off the ground. Plant for next year's spring harvest. Things like cilantro, you could try and replant to get another crop from. It depends on how much time you have. Days to maturity and first frost date math. We talked about that with planting the fall garden. Parsley, you could possibly get to overwinter, and it's a biennial. So on the second year, it will shoot up a flower and go to seed and self-seed itself everywhere, which is fantastic if you like parsley. In mild climates for winter, or using a cold frame, or maybe a subtropic area, your winter looks different than mine. So let's see if you can grow kale, spinach, the mache, Asian greens thrive under cover or in mild zones. Perennial herbs like rosemary, thyme, chives. Chives are perennial here, but not the rosemary. You can keep harvesting them. Also, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. Thumbs up. It helps more gardeners like you find all of us. I also have live streams on vertical gardens, storing vegetables for the hunger gap, growing food in small spaces. Now, we listed that crops list for one garden bed, whether it was the 3x2, the 6x1, or 5 containers. What do I grow in? I grow in a 4x8 bed. That's how I was doing beds here in my front yard. So, double that, double what I talked about. If you want to take this further and grow more for your groceries year round, that's where the self-reliant garden comes in. So let's see if we add a second space, what is that crops list? Let me head into the chat before I go into that. Jay Dixon explains interplanting, also known as companion planting, is a gardening technique where different plants are grown together in the same space to maximize resource use and promote a healthy ecosystem. Springtime is in a few weeks for Radio Jonesy. Foxic Outdoors. I've got chives growing 24/7, 365, many planters pull full. The Wikishara says, Shawnee, that could work for sure. I do not have money or access, but I do plan on adding 1 inch of powdered clay to all my grow bags next year to seal the bottoms in, cone shaped. What's making you want to grow in grow bags, if you don't mind me asking? We might have had this conversation before. And I know you're working on a big project, but what is your reasoning for grow bags for yourself in the future? Okay, what Wickershire says, grow bags, mulch, and you may want to mulch them or mulch them. Grass leaves, straw, cardboard, hardwood, pine bark, no dyed bark mulch, 100% no rubber mulch. Yeah, because that's chopped tires. What? I don't understand either. Let's all email them together to say, why can't we just have it only be live chat and not top chat, right? Okay. So our self-reliant garden, let's add a second bed, right? So crops by zone for money-saving focus. The cool, cold climate zones 3 to 5, northern US, Canada, parts of Europe is what we're going to talk about first. Root staples. Potatoes, carrots, beets, turnips, parsnips, cold hardy greens, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, collards. Shiju Misa and Tatsoi might be cold tolerant. I can't remember off the top of my head. Your storage crops. So cabbages. There's different kinds. There's the cone-headed ones. There's different fancy names. I just don't remember. And then miniature ones and ones that are giant and fat. And then there's the Napa cabbage, um, onions, garlic, winter squash, and then, hello, perennials, rhubarb, asparagus, all the berries, right? Raspberries and currants were on this list. Now let's go into more temperate climates, zone 6 through 7. Much of US, parts of Europe and Turkey, the root crops, potatoes and sweet potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic, storage crops, the pumpkins, the winter squash, beans both dry and fresh. What perennials? Strawberries. I can have strawberries here for sure. Grapes. Certain grapes work here too. And asparagus, I definitely can do in my area as well. Let's turn up the heat and go into the warm, hot climate. Zone 8 through 10, southern US, Mediterranean, South Africa, Australia, coastal, heat-loving staples, the sweet potatoes, okra, cowpeas, melons, amaranth. What perennials, you might ask? Citrus, figs, bananas, maybe perennial peppers? Throw out your perennials and your suggestions. Absolutely. I am going to go over that secret list as well when we go through this section, after we go through this section. Now, turn up the heat a little bit more. Tropical, subtropical zones 10 through 12, Northern Australia, Southeast Asia, Equatorial Africa, Caribbean. Tropical staples, cassava, taro, yams, plantains. Heat-resistant greens, chaya, moringa, katuk, sweet potato greens. The perennial fruit like mango, papaya, banana, guava. High-value herbs like lemongrass, turmeric, ginger. Legumes, pigeon peas, yard-long beans. Those are all things that should grow for your self-resilient garden, and it doesn't take much space. Now, I don't have a clipboard map for those crops, but you know how gardening works. When you start and you have that first space and you're eating from your garden and you're like, wow, I want more. And we all add on more gardens, right? So don't forget that today's topic bonus, my members have a special printable guide. There's two of them, with one's a full year-round plan and then one's a self-reliant crop list by zone. So check the members only tab. Maybe you've seen it already. You can check it after the stream. Do what you want with it. So in the description, I have 2 articles that you guys can read on your own free time, because I love giving you homework. And then there is a link to a video, and I'm going to read to you the crops list from that video. I recently learned that I can't just share people's videos because I got in almost trouble. And I don't want to go out and get permission for things at this time. So, bell peppers. I'm just going to read the list, and it's going to be duplicate things. Tell me how you feel about it. We've got bell peppers, all the berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. There's more berries than that, but I'm just going to keep the list short. Cherry tomatoes, lettuce, whether it's a head or a leaf type. You could do both. Leeks. How expensive are leeks at the store? Grow your own. The herbs, of course, came up again. Chard, kale, green beans, summer squash, the garlic. Here's another one, broccoli. Now, for me, I have been trying to grow broccoli for 5 years. And have I had broccoli out of my garden? Nope. So we buy it at the store. And then the perennial fruit. The perennial fruit are such a money saver, okay? Peaches, pears, plums, apples, citrus, whatever wants to grow for free, plant it, okay? Whenever we talk about first-time growers, beginner gardeners, why aren't we saying grow perennials? Can we change that? That was the list. Okay. See where we're going here. Okay, Wickeshire, The purpose of using the grow bags is so you can move them around. Simple utility, back-breaking to build the raised beds at the moment. As you mentioned, the big project is in motion. Okay. Jay Dixon says cabbage, a member of the brassica family, comes in various types, each with unique characteristics. Common varieties include green, red, Savoy, and Napa cabbage. The Wickershire says, second answer, I have very little garden knowledge, so I'm learning how to grow food in different grow mediums for our zone and soil type, always testing methods. So I went through the list that was provided in the description for your video with the 4, 5, 6 soil types. I don't remember how many soil types now. It has to be a fall crop and grow in a 16-ounce cup. And I think I added some ideas, but a lot of them were already listed, the ones that I think would be successful. Now, could I be sabotagey and be like, here, grow this ridiculous thing? Yeah, I could have. Howie says, greenhouse and rocket stove, and you can grow in the north all year round. Robin Garden says, okay, the salsa batch is in for 40 minutes. How sorry am I going to be for eating the leftover salsa with chips at 9:30? Well, if you don't have GERD or sensitivities to tomatoes and spicy things, then you're free to munch, right? Radio Jonesy says, tropical areas suck. Everyone should be cool. It's just fascinating what things like to grow in different places. Like everyone has a list, you know? Homestead Aquarius, hey, Shawnee Grow is breaking down those facts and helping folks save money and get healthy food. Absolutely. Like I said, we talked about little bed spaces and how to maximize that space with as many crops that are the ones that cost too much at the store, right? You could make a little meal for yourself. Radio Jonesy is just a little jealous. Wild raspberries do well where Pest Hunter Outdoors is in Texas. Yeah, know what is wild around you. That'll also help you save money at the grocery store, right? Little foraging. Fox at Outdoors says, I absolutely suck at growing blueberries. Even my blackberries did terrible this season. Fox at Outdoors, don't you need to cold start broccoli? Okay, so I have tried all of the times of the year to do broccoli. I have broccoli in the ground right now. We'll see. Stay tuned to find out if I can harvest broccoli before the snow flies. Because I've tried it. Mother Earth Garden Club, hey. Absolutely, Jay's throwing out the reminder to support the channel. Like, share, subscribe, become a member, watch videos, use the affiliate links in the description. Always make comments for me to read. Give me something to do, right? Robin Garden says, my blackberries pay for the whole garden in savings. That's right. Mobile Tech, welcome to the conversation. Picked my first peach today. Sweet and juicy. Love that. The perennial fruit are definitely a grocery bill saver. Absolutely. Fox at Outdoor says, Robin Gardens, do you let them grow wild? Do you trellis them? Or do you chop and keep at a small size? Is it her blackberries you're talking about? She has a very special kind. It has its own trellis with a cage to protect it, and they're thornless, and they're fat and juicy. Worcestershire says, yeah, like grow. Oh, yeah, I could have totally said, here's this ridiculous crop that you should put in the cup. Yeah. Mother Earth Garden Club, I gave the neighbor's boy some peppers and $20 and he cut my grass. Oh, okay. I was like, why are we giving people $20? Because you tweaked your knee. Well, there you go. Fantastic. So Robin is answering Cliff at Fox at Outdoors, thornless, up over an arbor that we caged from the birds for 3 months. And the varieties are called Chester and Black Satin. Foxit says, I'll have to get some of the seeds, Wickershire Project off grid. I didn't see them this season. The teddy bear sunflowers, is that what you're talking about? I have to mute for a second. Mother Earth Mother Earth Garden Club says, "I have someone coming to pick some of the grapes tomorrow." All right, you found some people? Or someone, I should say. Paper Airplane Kentucky is joining in on the conversation. Radio Jonesy says, "Broccoli, even if grow that." So my two of my kids, possibly my husband, is a broccoli eater. I am not. Not doing it. Nope. Radio Jonesy says, "It must be the weather here." Oh, the Wickershire says, "Shawnee, looking for comments to read. I got this bad rash I need you to check out and look at. Hey, gardening related only." Somebody made a comment about, "What if I told you I couldn't read and I was deaf?" And then I said, "Oh, the power of voice to text. If only you could smell the garden with me. Thanks for watching." Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. And I talk with my hands, so I'm sure you heard and saw what I was talking about to my husband. Um, okay, let's see where we're at with the list of things. We talked about the special list, we talked about the visual, the bonus for members. So speaking of members, become a channel member and unlock a special video. Why I have a channel. There's photos in there. I'm putting printables that go with the shows in there. Just hit the join button or subscribe plus, or there's a link in the description if that sounds like your garden party. Our next goal, I know Radio Jonesy's waiting for me to say where I'm at. We need 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours to get full monetization. Unlocked. Okay, we're doing it. The goal is happening. The race is on. Would love to see this by November 1st. That's why you're seeing a lot of me. The current totals as of today, well, I mean, it's 5 days behind, okay? 791 subs and the watch hours are at 3,300. I feel really good about that. And it's all thanks to all of you. Let's give a huge garden-sized thank you to our current members. Your support helps this garden community grow every day in every way. Members, drop your custom emojis in the chat right now. We want to celebrate you. I'm going to read out the members list, which is always growing, and it's fantastic. And I have to thank Miss Sharon. If you're listening, I hope your appointment went okay. I think it was today, and I appreciate everything you do here with the channel. I need to share my screen. That's what I'm trying to do. Go to the beginning of the list. Nope, that's not the button. All right, Robin Garden, South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, Scott Driven Fortitude, the LP Dimension, Big Will, Dog 82 in the Soil, Mother Earth Garden Club, Richard, Miss Sharon, Sooner JH Travels, John, Radio Jonesy, Diva in the Dirt, Marine, Washington, Gear Grindin' 19, Demoose 1829, Teats Treats, Future of Food with Chef Kelly, Grace Martin, Serena Norell, The Groves, Bargain Emporium, Steph, GT Jr. Grows it, Alaska, Brook Trout 1, Leslie Spites, Emmanuel, the Ultimate Gardener, Leonard Mountain Homestead, Chris and Amy, Puppy Breath, Sifting Some Soil and More, White Rock Homestead, Homestead Aquarius, Sam Pottsick, Destiny Fitzgerald, Minnesota Gardening, Grant McIntosh, MKP, Resourceful Living, Homestead, and Dare L, Consume the Goodness, My Renaissance Grandma, Marketplace Boutique, Yossi in the Simple Kitchen, Maritza, and Yarn and Crafts, Jessica's Dumpster Girl, Shante G, Bat 13, and Ace. Move that. Okay. In the chat, we shall go. Here we go. Radio Jonesy says 766 subs and 3,113 hours as of today. Hello, Bobby. Welcome. We covered the money-saving crops to grow to avoid spending a bunch of money at the grocery store. We talked about different zones for a self-resilient garden. We talked about the size of the space to get started, the crops list, what grows in spring, summer, fall, possibly winter for you. that is all the information I had, and we are at 40 minutes, so we might have a short show tonight, unless you guys can come up with something to do. Radio Jonesy says, wow, you're a superstar, Shawnee Grows. Thank you. Robin Gardens is checking on the channel, 21 watching, but not seeing 21 likes. Smash the button, channeling my inner bow tie. Wickershire has a PSA about wearing gloves. Blisters, burns, bubbles, pokes, bites, and cuts. Out there in nature, everyone. We all have a story. Best Hunter Outdoors. I'm good for about 20 more minutes. So do I have a banner about what's happening? Oh, I do need to remind everyone that in the members section for posts, there's a garden, welcome to the members garden gate post. So that's like the Q&A section of make a comment with a question and I can answer it directly there. It might turn into a members only live or a live this way, the way we're doing it right now. So the coming soon, we are having a show tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah. And we were talking about fermentation tools for the garden. But I need to say, I've never used any of them because that was a goal this year that I haven't gotten. I didn't get to it. And then I feel like I also have to say, they're not all backed by science. Now, does that bother people? If I tell you a tactic that's been talked about in the gardening community to be used for for a for a fungus, for a plant disease, for maybe a pest, and it hasn't been backed by science, would that bother you and, call me a liar? I don't know. I'm very hesitant on even doing the show now tomorrow, to be honest. Like, should I change the topic? I don't know. I don't have confidence in the information that I'm going to speak about because, like I said, I don't have any experience. It's stuff I hear about. I just collaborated a list together. And so I need some feedback on just do it anyways. And who cares what people say, or make a new topic. Don't forget to fill out the poll. We can close the poll and talk about that. So what's the most expensive fresh food you buy at the store? We have herbs, salad greens, tomatoes, and peppers. And the winner was salad greens, which I just bought some because mine aren't quite big enough to harvest yet. And a lot of the other ones look pretty tough and rough, and I wasn't going to try it. So I admit it, even with my gardens, I went and bought a salad mix, guys. So ending poll, and I'll put the words on the screen for the replay. You in the replay. Did I hit the button? Where is it in the chat? There it is. Okay. It just popped out at me. Copy. Okay, I'm going to put this on screen. Here's what we did. This is what we voted here with our audience. What did we have, 19 votes or something? So you in the replay, you get to vote too. What's the most expensive fresh food you buy at the store? People are still buying herbs, it says. Let's change that right now. Let's get you guys planting some herb plants. I'm sure they're discounted right now. Get them in the ground, get them in a container. Peppers are tied with the herbs. And then tomatoes. Okay, so where did I leave off? Radio Jonesy. Yeah, cut it short. You don't need extra watch hours. Thanks. Oh, Bobby says Mike at Drifting Dreamers 5 dropped everything to come and fix your AC. Well, that is an awesome gesture. There you go. Jay says just use disclaimers and still do the show. Okay. Wickershire says tactics are for us to use to see if it benefits us. No hold bars. It may help someone. Not everything works. Yes, exactly. Radio Jonesy, do a fun live. Can someone describe to me, for the Shawnee Grows viewers, what a fun live would be? Throw out some ideas, because I could schedule some fun lives if you write out what that is what you're envisioning for that, right? Cliff says, anyone willing to move to Zone 7A, New Mexico to help me with my garden? Asking for a friend. Storms, Radios, and Cat says, still here. Keep doing what you're doing, Shawnee. Ignore the hype. Thank you for the support, Barry. The Wickershire says, yes, do it with a footnote. Not science proven, but may work for you. It worked for us. Well, I haven't done any of it. I had really good intentions to use the methods I'm going to talk about, but I didn't get around to it because I don't live at the garden. It's like impossible for my schedule. Mobile Tech. I teach a weekly online live class, and I always tell my students that we all learn from each other's experiences. Love that. Right. Experiences could be good or bad, but we all learn from them. Okay. Bobby says, let's talk about why peppers don't ripen now. So I was talking about peppers the other day because I have concerns. I left my phone in the other room again. My weather forecast is possibly going to have nights where it says it'll get 47 degrees. So I was panicking a little and saying, do I need to pick all the peppers off the plants and bring them in? I also was questioning, how long do I need to wait? Because a lot of them are still green, and I know that they're going to turn a color because I bought them for the color, whether it's red or orange or yellow. You know, the ones that are already that yellowy color. So what would that be? There's a peach, like a hot peach one. I can't remember what it's called. And then there's, what is it, Hungarian hot wax? Like whatever color that is. They'll turn, what, red or purple when they're ripe? I was told that if I put them on my counter, they'll start to blush or turn. Now, I don't know. If you put them in the fridge, will they still do that? Because they're kind of in a cooler at the store, you know? So, what do peppers need for them to start ripening? What's the secret? Just time? I hear my cat. Warm, time, consistent conditions. It can ripen off the vine. Full size, sufficient sunlight, proper soil conditions. Removing flowers or small fruit that won't mature before frost can help the plant focus energy on remaining peppers. Removing excess foliage and flowers helps speed up ripening. Like, so I could top it, cut the head off, and then it would go, oh, seeds, make seeds, and then it would ripen the peppers. Because, yeah, I mean, how many days? Let's find out. So my first frost can be October 5th. I have 46 days. I have decisions to make. Robin Garden says, as far as I'm concerned, if it works, go for it. Sometimes it could be a placebo effect, but if it works for me in the garden, I do it. Thank you, Wickshire. Oh, Pest Hunter, your greenhouse still isn't fixed? Okay. I wondered. Mother Earth Garden Club, I'm between lettuce crops at the moment. I have tomatoes, peppers, and herbs. Cliff grows most of his own herbs. Started in 2020. Never looked back, honestly. Yeah, so now that I'm at a new property with the gardening, I'm trying to establish perennial herbs out there. So I planted to see if they'll live because it's a different climate out there than the in-town area. Thyme, oregano, parsley, sage, mint. It was just like some pineapple mint that I don't even care for, but I can use it to chop it up and put it in fertilizer or something. Robin Gardens loves a good garden trivia night. Let's see. So we've done Would You Rather, and then we've done Guess the Plant. I think we had one where there was like multiple choice, but I don't remember what the questions were. Grow and show your vegetables. Oh, like a show and tell live stream. Games are fun. I know a lot of people get frustrated when we play words on stream. Mobile Tech says, talk about the weirdest things that happened to us in the garden. I don't know. What would be a weird thing in the garden? It's all feels pretty normal. Radio Jonesy says, hey, Robert, I found out why I haven't seen your content. I wasn't subbed, but let's change that. He likes to grill things, Radio Jonesy. Mobile Tech, I also tell them that failure is just a stepping stone to success. Barry says, I don't know, but in the past, women used to have fun parties. I'm not going to explain that one here. Barry. Wickshire, peppers and tomatoes need conditions met. Just wait. Sugar Rush Peach, that's the one, right? That's the one. I think that's the one. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. I just wanted to try it. Why not? I keep hearing about fish peppers. It's not on my pepper. I really need to narrow down what I want to grow for peppers because I'm not planting 65 plants next year. Or whatever. I don't know. It was a ridiculous amount. It's not. We're not doing that. Richard, good morning. My granny made what she called a Chinese hat and covered her plants with these to protect plants from frost. Pretty cool. That's a season extender. Cliff says, I believe that once a peppers gets to certain temp, they stop all function. The cold, you mean? Yeah, it's like under 55. So the plan is to watch the hourly breakdown to see if it's really going to happen. Because you know how it happens with the weather. Because I can't cover and protect them. J. Dixon, while picked peppers can ripen indoors in a warm, dry, airy location with indirect light, this process is slower than ripening on the vine. I do have a shelf designated for them if I have to. I did take a bunch of those grape-sized, cherry-sized tomatoes, and I just threw them in a freezer bag because I like to add them into the slow cooker or Instapot for roasts, either pork or beef. I don't know. I just needed to get it done off the list of things, right? Wickshire says, issue with peppers ripening indoors is at a certain point you lose moisture and then they wrinkle. Radio Jonesy says, get greenhouse that you can take with you when you move. Yeah, I haven't found one that I really care for because hail, snow, wind, I have to take those into consideration when picking out a greenhouse style because there's many types, and we'll get into that this winter when we talk about greenhouses. We're going to break it down. You know, even what the framing is built out of matters, how it's anchored to the ground matters. Um, get down, down. And we're back. What does this say? Bobby says, Rita Jonesy, Mike is the salt of the earth. He saved us about $1,000 today. Cliff says, Shawnee Girls, I'll PSA this right now. Never chop up mint and put it in a compost or mix into fertilizer. You'll never get rid of it. Liquid fertilizer is going to spread mint. I know that all parts of the stem root, but a liquid? Wickshire says, basil, sage, mint, oregano grows like a beast here. No. I think it's due to this. This is what we use mostly. Other herbs, would have to plant them and see. What is this? Gardening quizzes. There's a thing? I'll put that over here. Okay. Homestead Aquarius. I mostly just like to cook things now. Pest Hunter Outdoors. Fail is the first attempt in learning. Well, so what, does it matter what temperature the shed gets? Like, what's the temperature needed for the when I pull the pepper plant and hang it upside down or whatever to hang it for the peppers, Robin? What's the ideal temperature in the shed? Because there's a lot of different places that I could do something. Jay Dixon says, today I took an abundance of oversized zucchini and shredded and froze for future use. Fantastic. Oh, I did, I made chocolate chip muffins. Ooh, I should show one. I don't know. Do you guys want to see the muffin I made? And then cheesy potatoes with ham. And then I made a bunch of breaded fried chicken. So either like sandwich size or strips. I did both. And I froze half of it. And so now I can make a crispy chicken bacon Swiss honey mustard sandwich. And I can have a crispy chicken, lettuce, cucumber, cheese, crouton, sunflower seed salad with honey mustard. I don't know what this said. Radio Jonesy, yes, I'm down now. What? Oh, as I said to Turbo, get down. He's on the table. We're training. Pest Hunter Outdoors, apparently, so it's picking up an eastern diamondback that you are allergic to. What? That must be to somebody. Picking up a eastern diamondback that you are allergic to? I'm lost. Mobile Tech, we have a guy here in Yerington who makes portable greenhouses that he will deliver for $1,500. Well, we have lots of Amish, and I have a personal builder at the ready, so I just don't have a use for it. I don't have a use for a greenhouse at this moment. I like the winters off, you know? I know how to grow indoors a little bit. I have a spot where if I had all the money that I need to start in a container dwarf citrus situation, I could, but I don't have money for that. Oh, Radio Jonesy says mint on grilled lamb is delicious. Howie says, I plant mint wherever I can. I have a bunch drying. Yeah, I was so late to the game of going to the nurseries to get potted plants. They didn't have what I wanted. I wanted different varieties of mint. Apple mint, for example. I wanted chamomile because I've tried direct sowing it and it doesn't work for me ever. I've tried it many times. Lemon balm. I wanted to get a patch of lemon balm established. All that stuff wasn't there. Excuse me. So next year, go early and get the things I want to go plant out at the garden. Kevin comes in with, hi, if I remember correctly, the lowest temp for peppers is 47. I believe that number is more important in the spring with seedlings rather than the mature plant in the fall. Great question, because we do know that mature plants have different strength than those little seedlings, right? I got my eye on the weather because I got a lot of peppers out there and I still did not take the time to figure out a game plan. I would like to think ahead and go, okay, are we just chopping and freezing and eating fresh? Is that the plan? Are we going to grill, smoke, and dehydrate some? Probably. Because what you do with those then in the wintertime, because you store them like they're whatever size it is, you don't chop them up and blend them until you're going to use it. Because yes, you can make a powder for a seasoning. You can rehydrate them and blend them with tomatoes and onions and garlic and make a sauce for like enchiladas or something. I need to get the plan wrote down. Muffin, should I go get it? I should probably play something while I'm getting it. Oh, Howie says rats, mice, ticks don't like mint. Ooh. Radio Jonesy says took beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on seed bun. That was a headline this week. Oh, Pest Hunter Outdoors, that thing that was confusing. Radio Jonesy is using voice to text, everybody, so just use your best judgment on what's happening. Wikishire says, yes, I like looking at food I will never eat. I can close my eyes and mentally taste it and smell it. It's a new recipe, everybody, and I'm a little proud of it. Plus, I lie judging other chef abilities secretly. Mint is very healthy for humans. Yeah, I had all these goals to just like have a tea every week, mint and basil, and it's like the basil got choked out because the tomatoes, I planted too many together, and the anise hyssop is doing great, but I don't see any sweet alyssum, and Like, I have a lot of, like, whatever you call that, not failures, lessons, adjustments. You know, that one garden, the warm crop garden by the trellis arbor thing, it's a new space. I got a little excited, right? Howie says, I'm hungry and need food and listening. All right, you eat. Robin says, I hung in my garage, doesn't go below 40 in there. It worked perfect. I would think protected from frost is likely the best thing you achieve if you've got 30 plus days, so I think you'll be surprised. Um, let me think. So I definitely have space in my bedroom on a grow shelf. I have space in my kitchen. I have space, well, I don't think I can do it at the garden because of the property owner's sensitivities, and I can't use the garage here. So maybe I'll get a hold of you Saturday and go, what should I do? Pet Center Outdoor says squash sticks on the grill with olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic. You know what I've recently learned? It was a patty pan squash, I think, sliced and put in some kind of marinade you pick, and then you grill it. What? Jay says, in the past, I had a very, very large herb crop on borrowed land. The landowner mowed it all down with zero communication of any issues. What? Set me back financially. Terrible. Thank you for sharing your story. Wickershire says 15 new squash and 25 bean plants topped by rabbit or deer. Probably deer, no rabbit poop. I do hand collect rabbit poop ball by ball in a cup. Off-grid fertilizer life, baby, grow pots again. Yeah, I had a lot of wild rabbits at this property, the rental home gardens, which don't exist anymore. In the winter, I would put bird seed in the bed so they would go eat it and poop in the bed. Oh, South Florida Sunshine Tropicals is still awake. Make sure y'all hit the like. We're ending the show soon, actually. We've talked about all the things. I'm going to go get a muffin and show you my muffin. Whoa, Adam. Please show mods. I just got news of a first cousin that took his. What? Oh no. Absolutely. If you know someone, call for help. Absolutely. Yeah, we've known, I don't remember how many, but at least too many that did that. And it's never easy. I'm really sorry about that, Adam. Yeah, definitely, Robin. Oh, Bobby says, you still have tons of ghost peppers? I wondered. They're green. Oh, okay. None of them have turned yet. Habaneros are in the freezer, but you're still waiting on the jalapenos? Okay. Radio Jonesy. So, let me just be right back. So, here is I'll answer that question in a second. So, see how we have a nice puffed up dome top? The flavor is just chocolate chip, and it's not a healthy version or anything. It's just regular muffin. I'm very proud of it. That was one of the things I did today. Okay, so spider injection under the intake. It's a throttle body. So remember when I was like, I'm pretty sure I talked to you about this. I said it, I think that the injectors are dirty and plugged because you ran it out of fuel and it shoved all that stuff through the line. And it's when he ran it, it would smell, you know. So he thought it was a misfire. That's why he did the spark plugs and didn't do a distributor cap or plugs or wires or anything. And so when we had the mechanic look at it, it's like tearing the engine apart, essentially. And he goes, yeah, it doesn't, the cost that it would take to do this job doesn't make sense for the amount of miles on the vehicle, the shape the vehicle's in. You'd be better off just starting over. He wanted to say, my husband, Mushroom Mark, wanted to put a new motor in it. And the mechanic's like, a used Vortec is just going to do the same thing eventually. Like, no, I'm not doing that for you. You can take it somewhere else and have it done, but we can't afford that. We can't afford a new vehicle at all. And I just want to point out that I was right. Homestead Aquarius, pepper plants can be overwintered. Oh, easy. No, I had them in buckets. I brought them in. They all did not make it. It's not easy. Hugo Homestead, welcome to this. Oh, he's live. What day is it? Is it Wednesday? Yeah. Okay. Old Man King is live, just so everyone knows. I am heading out of here. Carol is supposed to be sleeping, but using some of the insomnia for Shawnee to get her hours. Yeah, that looks good. Thank you. I worked hard on it. Well, you know where it is, Barry. It's like a cookie and a cake had a baby. Yeah, I told the kids, I'm like, you just have one today so they last a couple days because I only made 12. And there's 3 kids plus a husband. And if I even want one, you know? Okay, so we talked about our goals and all the things coming up. So thanks for spending part of your day with me. Herbs, greens, tomatoes, peppers, beans, and garlic aren't just delicious. They're some of the highest value crops you can grow at home. And when you rotate them through the seasons and do successions and tuck them into places when you take things out, you can keep harvesting and keep saving year round. Remember, it's not about growing everything. It's about growing smart. A little planning in your garden can mean fewer overpriced trips to the grocery store. Remember to grow every day in every way. Now, YouTube thinks that the best video for you next is here on the screen, so let's see if it's right. See you in the comments over there.